Hello, I'm Paul Lancaster here at Reading Station to witness the arrival of a very special train. The train commemorates the end of cross-country services using the HST or high-speed train. The train is called the Pines Express. The mighty Intercity 125 or high-speed train. The HST has been the backbone traction of British Railways for over 40 years. Now expensive to maintain and operate, they're reaching the end of their lives on Britain's railways. But what a journey it's been. Celebrating the end of their careers with cross-country trains on the northeast to southwest route, a special train called the Pines Express. Emulating the golden days of the named train that once plied the route from Manchester to Bournemouth, using the long-gone and much-missed Somerset and Dorset joint railway. Our train commemorates the end of the HST on the route, a memorable day out travelling from Leeds to the preserved Swanage railway and packed with enthusiasts raising money for charity. So here we are at Reading, great excitement. The train has just arrived, the Pines Express. It now changes direction, the drivers change end, and we head down towards Swanage. It's already travelled this morning down from Leeds and just a few minutes late. There's much excitement in the air. The cross-country rail route benefited from the HSTs being introduced in the 1980s, their yellow, blue and grey livery colour scheme being a familiar feature. They're often seen as the saviour of British Rail, enticing people back from their cars onto the rails with faster journey times and improved passenger comfort. When the railways were privatised, it was Virgin who won the right to operate the cross-country route. When Virgin lost the franchise, a new name and a new livery appeared. Cross-country trains started operating on the 11th of November 2007. A multi-million-pound contract was awarded to Wabtec Rail to refurbish 40 high-speed train carriages for use on cross-country services and re-engine 10 power cars to extend their life and improve efficiency and reliability. The carriages received a complete overhaul and were formed into 5 sets, each train running with 2 power cars and 8 carriages, providing some 550 seats. They proved popular with passengers that had suffered severe overcrowding on the much shorter and less popular Voyager trains. In recent years, there's been additional work to equip the carriages with sliding plug doors and toilet retention tanks. However, the time is now up for the cross-country fleet. Having been in use for over 40 years, they're now seen as non-standard and expensive to operate. The cross-country HSTs are sadly now consigned to history and will be missed by passengers travelling on the southwest-northeast corridor. The route of our Pines Express starts in Leeds and heads down through Sheffield, Derby and through the Midlands, Leamington Spa, before a dash along the Great Western to Reading, then down to Basingstoke and on to Bournemouth, the original destination for the old Pines Express, before a jaunt along the south coast to Wareham, turning off the main line and then on to the final destination at Swanage. It's the 26th of September 2023, an early morning in West Yorkshire. Our train is arriving for the start of this farewell rail tour in the city of Leeds. The nearby Neville Hill depot has been involved in maintaining the HST since they were introduced in the area in the early 1980s. Our train has power car 43008 at the head in the eye-catching Intercity Swallow livery. There's a full rake of HST Mark III trailers and an even more stunning 43007 in the original style blue and grey, bringing up the rear. The journey south is now well underway as the special arrives in Sheffield. Interest and excitement in the tour had been building since it was first announced, and was heightened after the final run for an HST in regular service had taken place just over a week earlier on the 18th of September. That final run was also powered by the same power cars, and for many, this was the only opportunity they would get to see them in their historic and nostalgic colours. It's become the norm on these final rail tours that the drivers certainly get to exercise the two-tone horns, much to the delight of those witnessing these icons passing into history. And mention must be made of the handsome headboard adorning the train, a throwback from the days of steam, a fitting tribute to the end of one of the most successful trains ever to run on Britain's railways. Due to popular demand, the usual 2+7 HST formation on CrossCountry has been extended to 2+8 for this farewell tour. Down to Derby, and the town has an important link to the HST. The Railway Technical Centre here developed the prototype HST in the early 1970s. And the Litchurch Lane workshops built the Mark III coaches used in the HST sets. Each stop on the route collecting more enthusiasts keen to mark the end of the CrossCountry HST. When CrossCountry refurbished their trains, they created one of the better interiors for the Mark III coaches that gave them a new lease of life and earned them a reputation as one of the more superior types of rolling stock. We're now in North Warwickshire, and the Pines Express storms through Water Orton. Then it's a short dash along the Great Western Main Line, and we pass one of the dual-powered IETs on the approach to Reading. This important station is at the hub of a number of routes and provides an opportunity for enthusiasts on the train to stretch their legs and capture the moment.
Customers on platform 13, please stand well away from the platform edge and behind the yellow line. Please remember, if you wish to take photos of this historical event, please remain away from the platform edge.
The Pines Express is crossing the former regions and changes direction here as it heads from the former western towards the old southern region and Basingstoke. It provides a reminder that the HST was once an everyday sight here at Reading as they powered the Great Western services to and from London Paddington to Wales and the West, and transformed services completely when they were first introduced back in 1976. The Pines Express resumes its journey south, leaving Reading and the Great Western Main Line, and heads down towards Basingstoke. On board the train, the final passengers are settling in for their journey to the coast. The route takes them through Eastleigh, still an important railway town with sizable freight facilities, and the former railway works, part of which is still in use in private ownership. After passing through Bournemouth and Poole, we aren't far from our destination as we skirt around Holes Bay just off Poole Harbour. A dash here along the main line will see us turn off just after Wareham at Wergret Junction. Our train takes to the single line of the Swanage branch, and there are stunning views. A full-length HST snaking its way along the Isle of Purbeck line to the seaside destination of Swanage. The unique style of this charming railway can be glimpsed as we pass through Corfe Castle, a highlight from the window for many of the enthusiasts on board. The potential power of the HST being held at bay to ensure we keep to the speed limit for the preserved railway of 25 miles per hour. Like a model railway, our train makes its way through stunning scenery as the destination gets tantalisingly close. From high on the hillside, the train passes through the charming Harmon's Cross station. The original line didn't have a station at Harmon's Cross, and the current station was opened back in March 1989 and served as the temporary terminus for the line. With the destination now in view, our train passes the loco shed and turntable, relics from another age, as the train slowly snakes its way into the platform. The end of the line on this momentous journey down from Leeds. And what a sight it makes as the power car eases gently towards the buffer stop. The high-speed Greyhound in the delightful surroundings of a sleepy country station, preserved to the very highest standards and reminding us of a time gone by. The irony that the HST will also be part of history for cross-country trains. Well, here we are, we've arrived, we've made it to Swanage. This is the Pines Express arriving, marking the end of the 125 services for cross-country trains. Our high-speed train has reached the end of the line, and in more ways than one. And what a delightful sight it makes, the glorious Dorset sunshine of a late September day. The 8-coach HST formation, far too long for this country station platform at Swanage, so some of the exit doors of the coaching stock locked and out of use. As you might expect, as the passengers disgorge from the train, they make a beeline for our retro-liveried power car, the colours of which take us back to its early days with British Rail. Back then, everything appeared in what we all thought at the time to be one of the most monotonous liveries. Only now, with the passing of time, do we look back and recall with great affection the blue and grey days. The days when the HST was state-of-the-art and provided speed and comfort that has been difficult to beat since. It's the air of nostalgia that makes the scene so unmissable and explains the sea of photographers capturing every moment and every angle of this special train. It's not often that the impressive size and scale of the HST can be pictured with a picket fence in the frame too, providing a contrast between the old and the new, or should I say old and not so new. For the crew of this special train, there's an opportunity to capture a moment in time when they provided a unique run to the seaside with the last of their HST flight. The train was able to run to Bournemouth and back as an additional special run for those that couldn't make the journey north, using the title The Bournemouth Bell. But we'll use some of those images to illustrate the return run of our train, the Pines Express. Well, that's it. Our time is up on the Pines Express. Everybody's excitedly getting back on board for that journey back to Leeds. And that's it, preparations now for the return journey. The finger signpost on the station announcing the return working. A final chance to take in the Mark III CrossCountry carriages and catch sight of the highly collectible window stickers helping to mark the special occasion. At what is now the front of the train, the headboard for the Pines Express, sitting particularly well on the front of 43008 in its intercity colours. The headboard was a regular feature of the Pines Express back in the days of properly named trains from the age of steam. All too soon we've reached departure time. And using a little artistic license, some of the images taken through the day of the various departures being used here to illustrate our train leaving at 18 minutes past 4, as the engines of both power cars roar back into life, one pulling, one pushing. The Pines Express gets underway and the journey back up north begins. Looking for all it's worth like the setting for an unlikely modern train on an idyllic steam model railway, our HST and its Mark III coaches leave Swanage for the very last time. We head away from the Jurassic coast and some stunning views of both the scenery and our superbly turned out train. Firstly, through the countryside at Langton Matravers, just a couple of miles out from Swanage. What a wonderful combination of old semaphore signals, scenery and the HST as we pass through Harmon's Cross. We pass through the station and skirt around the castle at Corfe, one of the prettiest villages in the country. At Wareham, we're back on the main line, but a pause here means there's an opportunity for enthusiasts to capture the moment in time. The HSTs were never a regular visitor to this part of the country, the line being part of a third rail network that was extended between Bournemouth and Weymouth. The station footbridge provided the ideal vantage point for some great images of the Pines Express. By Sanford Crossing, our train can now exercise its legs once more and quickly accelerates up to line speed, creating quite a sight and showing these old girls still have plenty of life left in them. Once again, we're skirting around Poole Harbour. By this time, many of the passengers had made new friends on the journey, all helped along the way by a common interest, wanting to enjoy the CrossCountry HST one last time. The train was raising money for charity, and with items on sale and a raffle with some great prizes, a good amount was raised for the Brain Tumour Trust. At Eastleigh we branch off the Southern Main Line and take the route through Romsey towards Salisbury. At Greatley near Andover, it's clear the light is fading. The sun is setting one final time on the Pines Express. It's easy to forget everyday scenes like this on these Mark III coaches. The revised arrangements for the plug doors that help these carriages have an extended life, still looking bright, clean and modern. One of my earliest memories of travelling on the HST, the revolutionary interior sliding doors, something we now take for granted. At Basingstoke, no mistaking we're on the old Southern, with the unmistakable third rail still providing power for the modern ENUs. I think Tim there sums it up perfectly for all of us on this rail adventure with his thumbs up. Then we're back at Reading, and for me the end of my HST journey in more ways than one. The train will now retrace its route back to Leeds, and that means changing ends and direction once again for the crew. A large group of enthusiasts has gathered on the platform ends to witness the departure, many of them, like me, having just stepped down from the train and wanting one final glance, one final photo or shot of the CrossCountry HST. As the marker lights change, the crew is ready and have the right of way. The engine revs lift and the mighty train is back on the move once more, complete with the now expected acknowledgement of the horn. Then the HST is gone, with a final 3 cheers from the Reading enthusiasts. At Warwick, that reminder to step back from the platform edge as the Pines Express passes through non-stop. The Pines Express snakes its way back into Derby. We're now on our final few steps, and as our train slows to set down passengers, the sounds we've become used to hearing across the years, the gentle drone of the Mark III coaches and the hissing of their air suspension. The Pines Express left Swanage 6 hours ago, and it gets underway. We leave Derby for one final time, again watched by many of the passengers that had just alighted after their journey home. Now back in South Yorkshire, the train coasts into platform 5A at Sheffield. Our HST leaves Sheffield and heads on into the darkness, with the final destination just under an hour away. On board, we hear one of the final announcements over the public address system.
We hope you've had a fantastic day. Thank you for all your support, and thanks to all the cross-country team who've worked so hard to make it happen.
And finally, it's the end of the line. The passengers have now all alighted from the train, and it's about to set off for servicing overnight at the Neville Hill depot. It offers one last sequence of images, a very fitting and fond farewell to these cross-country stalwarts. And from me, a final thank you to everyone involved in operating this grand day out to the seaside to mark the end of the HST with cross-country. And a thank you from me to everyone who's so kindly allowed me to use their prized and treasured footage of this momentous day.